start back next week?
I am. I'm ready. Got my voice tuned in.
Okay. Good deal.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too.
What are you laughing at?
We,
You seated where you're supposed to sit.
No. Two reasons. If I'm at the right place, that's the right name.
Well, you have different names. We need to change that sometime.
Well, I do talk different.
You're hiding this West.
Well, you wanted me to.
Good.
You're doing just
Is
right.
that better?
Yes. Well, now he's taking it.
Thank you for being here. If you'll stand, we'll be led by prayer by our treasurer, Keith Edwards, and remain standing for our pledges. Keith.
Let's pray. Lord, we come into this time, Lord. We thank you, first of all, for your blessings on this month, Lord. We pray that you continue to guide us, Lord, each day. Troubling times we live in, Lord, we pray that you today help us to make the decisions that need to be made, Lord, for the citizens of this county. Continue to watch over us and guide us in the name we pray.
amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I call to order the regular session of Vanderbilt County Commissioners Court on Wednesday, September 30th, 2020, at 9:01 a.m. Now, the quorum is established. Everyone's present with the exception of Brandon Brown, and he called, said he would be late, said he's coming. Plans on being here, but he will be late, right? So we do have a quorum. Item number 2, discuss and consider dispensing with reading of the minutes of the meeting of the Commissioner Court, approval of same for September the 2nd, 2020, and September the 16th. Got a motion by Commissioner Melton, is there a second?
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Pearson. Any questions, corrections, or additions? Being none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 3, discuss and consider approval of county bills for payment as submitted. So moved. Got a motion by Commissioner West, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pearson. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4, discuss and consider ratifying of county bills as submitted. So, got a motion by Commissioner Melton. Second. Got a second by Commissioner West. Any questions or discussion? Being none. Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 5, general business. Is there any general business we need to be made aware of? Any announcements?
Yes, Judge, Commissioners, on October the 10th, which is a Saturday between 8 and 5, there will, the Vanderbilt County Veterans Memorial Board is putting on a Veterans Auto Show, and it's going to be quite large. We're having a lot of old vehicles coming in from different agencies. There's going to be vendors, there's going to be 12, 13 vendors. There are going to be speakers during the day, but it's going to be quite large. And
What was the time and date again?
it's going to be October the 10th, from 8 to 5.
Any other announcements or general business? I'd like to make one, says I, Don Kirkpatrick, Van Zandt County Judge, voluntarily declined 3% salary increase in the 2020-2021 approved budget that would be effective October the 1st, 2020. My promise to the citizens of Van Zandt County was to not ask or accept a salary increase while serving as county judge as long as the county was in debt. While we've made great strides in reducing the debt from 8.7 million down to 1.045 million as reflected in this budget, my commitment to the citizens is as steadfast today as the day of my election in 2014. My goal as Van Zandt County Judge continues to be this county being debt-free, and I will work every day until that goal becomes a reality. While serving in Van Zandt County, this is the 9th affidavit declining the salary increase that I have signed. It is my privilege to serve the great citizens of this county. May God continue to bless Van Zandt County. Yeah. That's it. And I'll give a copy of this to Dan. This is our last day of our budget year. Tomorrow starts a brand new day. That don't mean the elected officials are spending all the money. We don't have the money in the bank until we get it from the taxpayers. But that's my commitment to the people, and it's an honor and privilege to stand for.
Judge, on this subject, I have not accepted the raise the whole duration of my term. I will finish my first term making exactly what I made when I started my first term. And I have turned in an affidavit also declining my raise. Now, I want to make everything clear. I don't believe this job is paying me up, and my salary beginning, the starting of my next term will be increased to what other commissioners make. At the end of my next term, it will be exactly what I make at the start of my term. So I want to make that clear to the public, and I appreciate everything.
Any other announcements or general business? Being none, we'll move to item number 6, public comment. Scott, did anyone sign up for public comment?
I have not seen it.
Joe? No, sir. No one signed up for public comment. We'll move to item number 7, discuss and consider cancellation of the VAWA grant and transfer of matching funds to temporary employee position. Perry, you'd like to address the board?
Yes, and while we're on the salary of subjects, or the subject of salaries, COVID has, as you all know, just wreaked havoc. I'm told, and for those who don't know, the county doesn't pay me, my position's paid by state funds. We're gonna get a 5% salary cut.
Yeah.
Thanks to COVID, so. But those are the kind of things that you know can happen when you accept a job like this, and you know, it happens, and everybody in the county and everybody in the state and the nation has had to make sacrifices. And the topic that I have before you today, gentlemen, is COVID related. If you think back, I came to the court and asked for permission to apply for a grant for a family violence prosecutor. The court approved that for me. Approved the matching funds in the amount of $18,410. We applied for the grant through the East Texas Council of Governments. We were awarded the grant for through the East Texas Council of Governments. That grant was actually to start in September, on September 1st, rather than an October 1st start date that coincides with our budget year. That grant, because it comes from federal funds that are sent to the Office of the Governor and then distributed by the Office of the Governor through the ETCOG. Those grants run September to August. So you all know that I had hired somebody to take that grant position. You guys authorized me to allow her to start early. And at that point in time, we actually thought it was an October 1st grant, Ms. Hill and I did. And so you authorized me to hire her as a county employee through the 1st of October. September 1st was a Monday or Tuesday, I think, if I remember right. That Friday, so the grant funds are supposed to start September 1st. That Friday at 6:15, I received an email from the governor's office saying that the federal funds had been cut because they had diverted those to COVID, and we would no longer receive this position. And there were other counties in the ETCOG district that were in the same position, at least 2 others. Had already, in their case, had extended an offer for a person to start. In our case, the person had already actually started. So that position's being cut. I immediately, thinking I was doing the right thing by giving notice to my employee on Tuesday morning, I call Candace in and tell her, look, you knew it was a grant position. Funds have been cut, I'm sorry. That way she would have plenty of notice to be looking for another job. You all had authorized me to hire her through October 1st. So this way she had time to look for another job, very competitive right now in getting jobs. She was upset, but she understood. About an hour later, Mr. Cox, Danny Cox, my first assistant, came in and gave me notice that he's leaving December 31st. One of his good friends was just elected as DA in Henderson County, and he was going to go be her first assistant. So, what I'm here today asking for is, I got with Ms. Hill, had her run the numbers. The matching funds that we had, that the county had set aside to pay the 20% of the VAWA position, the Violence Against Women Act prosecutor, is $18,410. It would cost you $18,048 if I were allowed to hire her and let her stay essentially in a temporary position till January 1st. Now, I made a commitment to this court that if something ever happened to this grant, I was not going to come and ask the court to fund an extra position for me. And I'm not. In my mind, I'm not. We will be back on January 1st to the number of assistant DAs that we've always been at. What I'm asking is to take those funds that were already earmarked for her 20% matching, use them. It works out, fortunately for me, it works out that 20% will be enough to hire her, salary, benefits, everything, till the end of December. That way she's here, we have continuity, and when Mr. Cox leaves, we'll be at our regular staffing. I'm not asking for you to authorize from here on forward an extra assistant DA. I'm just asking to authorize hiring her as a temporary extra position for the next 3 months so that she can continue to get running and be prepared in advance of January 1st. And I'll tell you this, that's going to leave me with 4 criminal assistants who do not have, not a single one of them have the experience that Mr. Cox has. Mr. Cox can walk into a courtroom and try anything I can try. He's a great, experienced prosecutor. It's going to leave me with 4 criminal lawyers, who most of which has 3 years prosecution experience. That's going to be tough, but I feel like I have to do that, and that's why I'm asking to keep Candace rather than going and finding somebody as experienced as Mr. Cox, because, again, COVID, the way I get to hire somebody like Mr. Cox is we get a state supplement of $22,500 a year for our office, the money that comes from the state. I use that to supplement the salary of my first assistant, so that I can be competitive to get somebody like Danny with 10 or 12 years experience to come in and be a first assistant. Well, they've already told us that in the next budget biennium, those funds will probably go away. So if I were to go try to find a first assistant instead of another young lawyer, I could hire them and then in a year potentially have to cut their salary by $22,000, or come to you all and ask you all for it, and you may or may not have it, because we don't know how long this is gonna keep going on. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna mean a lot more time in the courtroom for me, which I love the courtroom, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of admin to this job, let me tell you. But I think it's the right decision. I think it's the conservative, safe decision, to try to go forward with 4 younger, less experienced lawyers than to hire someone when I might not have that state money. And I don't know what you guys' position will be. Can't forecast that, because none of us could forecast COVID. So that's what I'm asking for, gentlemen. I don't feel like I'm going back on my word. I hope you don't feel that way. I'm just asking for a temporary, an extra temporary position for 3 months, using money that was already earmarked, for the 20% match.
Any questions for Tom? That doesn't change the budget.
No, and I think there is a budget amendment in today's packet to move it from the grant funds to, I assume, my salary line, I don't know, but, I think there's a budget amendment in there.
Probably already have, I'm sorry.
I don't think we got that done, but
Okay.
it'll be fine.
You probably already have, but you've got something lined up in case everybody doesn't do what they said they were going to on December 31st.
Yes, yes, sir, absolutely.
Mr. Cox would say, hey, I changed my mind or something other, what are we gonna do then? You're good at covering your bases.
Yes, sir, and I've thought about that too.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion by Commissioner Pearson, is there a second? Second by Commissioner West. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Item number 8, discuss and consider Vanderbilt County event permit application for Pray for America on October the 11th, 2020. We have an application to use the premises here. It's a St. Teresa Catholic Church wants to come and pray for America on October 1st. October the 11th here. Right. Is there a motion? So moved. Got a motion by Commissioner Melton. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Pearson. Question or discussion?
I have a question.
Okay.
This is a mass gathering permit. I didn't think we had to have a mass gathering permit for 30 to 50 people.
You don't, it should have been the premises, if you'll see attached to the back of it.
Right, I saw that.
Zandt County premises use policy, that's the form that should have been filled out. The mass gathering permit is when you're gonna have a concert.
We have 2,500 people. Yeah.
And so we attach that, but it is just a, event permit, application. So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Let the record reflect, Brandon Brown has entered and has joined the meeting. They're all members of the board of presidents at this time. Item number 9, discuss and consider approving Texas Feeding Texans Home Delivery Meals Grant Program matching. It's a $3,475.25 grant resolution for 2021. We do this every year.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, got a motion by Commissioner West, a second by Commissioner Melton. Is there any questions or discussion? Was that the same amount as last year, Ms. Hill, or?
I don't know for sure.
We do it.
Is this the
will this generate the treasurer's office to pay the resolution? Will we take this resolution for payment?
If it's approved. We got a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And that resolution should authorize that we just approved the payment. So, item number 10, discuss and consider adoption of board designated day of week on which Commissioners Court will convene in the regular term for fiscal year 2021. The last Commissioners Court meeting of each year, we have to designate when we're going to meet for the next year. Right now, we're meeting on Wednesday, every other Wednesday. As you see, the order set for every other Wednesday of the month, starting with October the 14th, 2020, as the first day. I think it works better for you, don't it, Kenny, to have it on Wednesday?
That's fine, it works good for me.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Commissioner West
Second, Judge.
made a motion. Commissioner Brown, second, to designate every other Wednesday of each month, starting October the 14th, 2020, as the first day of which the court shall convene in regular term during the next fiscal year. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 11, discuss and consider approval renewal of $5,000 bond for Shay Melvin, Assistant Auditor number 1.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Pearson, second by Commissioner Brown. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 12, discuss and consider Van Zandt County revised policy for installation of culverts in the Van Zandt County right of way. This was on the agenda last Commissioners Court to approve. I think they want to come in and revise. Commissioner Pearson or Commissioner Nelson? Go ahead, Commissioner Pearson.
Yes, sir. As mentioned last Commissioner's Court, we got started on this culvert deal, and we revised that to the point that Van Zandt County is no longer going to install culverts. Starting, if it passes, starting October 1st, which is tomorrow. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to have a learning curve to go through. I know I do, and I'm sure all the other commissioners have a list of people that right now that we're behind trying to get culverts put in. We'll have to work through all that. So I make a motion that we accept this amendment, just like it was 2 weeks ago, with the exception that the $250 that we're going to install for, that's gone. Van Zandt County, as of tomorrow, will no longer be installing driveway culverts. That's a motion per Pearson.
As of tomorrow, the commissioners won't be, anyone that's applied for one prior to now,
Yes.
will theirs be installed? It's just anybody that asks for a culvert after.
Yes. We'll still go out and size them, we'll look at the ditch, if there's ditch work to be done. I believe all the commissioners are in agreement. We want to get our ditch right before somebody puts a culvert in, as much as we can. So we'll still go out and look at the ditch, size the culvert, tell them what they need to do, and then issue them a permit that they have permission to put in their culvert. And that's the way I understand.
Okay.
Now, this is pretty much the way that TxDOT's doing it now. They changed about 3 years ago, got out of the culvert business. We're lagging a little bit. Okay.
And there's no charge for that permit. You know, if somebody wants to travel it, they'll contact either the local maintenance facility, or they'll contact the commissioner's office, and we'll take it from there and give them their size and issue them the permits and stuff.
That's a motion by Commissioner Pearson. Is there a second? Second. Got a second by Commissioner Brown. Any more question or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 13, discuss and consider section 130.908, local government code approval of spending by certain county precinct officers. Ms. Hill, would you like to address the court,
Judge,
or would you
Commissioner.
address the court?
When I was, as I was researching we have 4 offices this year that will be changing elected officials. We have the Zandt County Tax Office, the Precinct Number 2 Constable, the Sheriff's Office, and the Commissioner Precinct 1. The local government code guides us to the Commissioner's Court setting an expenditure of what these offices are allowed to spend for the 3 months that they're in office, October, November, and December. I researched, tried to find a policy. I know it's always been 25%. It's just always been verbal. But the code does say that the Commissioner's Court should have a policy in place. So in order for me to hand these officials something in writing so that they will know that my office will be reviewing their budgets and they will not be allowed. When I talk of 25%, it's going to be in their other costs that we're going to be watching, because you have to pay their salaries, and if they have any capital payments that are due, those will have to be paid as well. So we will monitor the other costs. We're not going to monitor by line, by budget line. We will be monitoring the bottom line of their total expense on the other costs. So today I come forth just asking you to approve the spending by the court. I want the court to approve their spending so that I will be able to give them this policy before tomorrow.
So moved.
Got a motion. I'll second. Elton, second by Commissioner Brown. Any questions or discussion?
Just a comment, I'll put a disclaimer out here that I don't believe anybody in this room would do it, but we want to protect the people. I'm not sure we should look at line by line, and I'll give you an example. If we did have a disgruntled elected official going out, and especially in the case of these 4 right here, and we wanted to spend every bit of that material line item in the first 3 months, and then the new elected official coming in wouldn't have any material. That's an issue that we shouldn't let happen.
You couldn't, if you can only spend 25%, if you got $1 million budget in your material, you're going to spend $250,000.
Well, that's what he's saying, it's not
Yeah.
what Sandy was saying. Sandy's saying is 25% of the bottom line.
Right.
Which ain't gonna,
It's, if you take 25%, yeah. If you take 25% of the bottom line, that's still not going to use up your
That goes from the material, fuel costs, everything, all the way through, that's your 25% on the way down. You buy tires, that's part of your 25%.
If you want the order to say per line item, we'll be more than happy to follow that rule. It's just according to what policy you tell me to follow. The Commissioner's Court has to give me a policy, set a policy for me to follow. And if you want to change your policy to per line item, per budget line item, then we will.
I think that would be right myself. I'm just concerned, if I got a $2 million budget, then that means I can spend $500,000. I can grab that $500,000 out out of, all of it, out of road and bridge material, and then you're gonna cut me off, and it's too late then, I've already spent it, it's laying out on the road somewhere, and then the next person's in trouble.
But they would have to come in, if it's already in line items, they would have to come in and ask for a line item transfer. Correct?
You couldn't do,
I mean,
you couldn't do.
No, you're not talking about spending more than in that line item. You're just talking about spending the 25%, all in that one line item.
Well, even if you did, let's say you had a million, that was 250,000, that's just normal road work, 25%.
Yes,
But
yes,
if you completely depleted,
You can't complete,
You can't complete it.
you can't complete.
No way. You only spend 25%.
25%
Of the,
Of the total budget.
of the below salaries, the line item below the salaries.
When Keith came in and I was over in the commissioner's office, I would work Bobby, making sure he wasn't going to go over the 25%.
on each line item.
I know for road and bridge, on the actual, I think it was APAC or whatever we were using, he came real close to going over. And I wanna say with his, we were watching just 25% total, was not looking at salaries.
Well, I really think it ought to be line item too, because you take, let's say he spends all the money or 25%, whatever, the dollar value he has, take it all out of road and bridge material, which he could do.
Good.
If he had trucks go down, he'd work on it, couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. That's a-
Or if he ran out of gas, couldn't buy more gas. I think it needs to be like that.
And it would be too late to fix it, is what Tim and I are saying. Once it's happened, and it's something, you can't go up there and pick up material up off the road and send it back, it's done.
Yeah.
So then they're going to come back to the court I understand the law is broken, but
It doesn't matter, 25% of the, if you got $1 million budget, you can't, in material, you can't spend more than $250,000.
That's right.
if my total budget, tomorrow, my budget starts over. I've got my total budget is a little over $2 million.
Right.
That means I can spend $500,000 somewhere.
Yeah.
So if I go out tomorrow and order $500,000 material and go out and fix my road, it's gonna be put out tomorrow. The next day, I can't do anything else. But what are you gonna do to me? That's what I'm saying. I'm playing the devil's advocate.
You still got money in your budget.
No, I just spend it all.
Don't spend 25%.
That's it.
If you're gonna build any roads, you're gonna pull the money out of other line items.
But then it's gonna come back.
No.
Yeah.
You'll have more than 25% of the
Right.
total budget in that one line item.
Right.
But if you spend it all
Out of that line.
out of that line item, which what she's saying is, she just checked the bottom line, so you could do it. Spend all 500,000, whatever the number was, and then you couldn't do anything else. You couldn't buy any gasoline, you couldn't fix a truck, you couldn't, buy a tire.
Yeah.
I think it pretty much needs to be by line item, but I know that's kind of a thing.
No, we can monitor.
Yeah.
If that's what the court wants us to do, we will monitor.
I would hope nobody would do that, but.
Oh, me too. But we're not always gonna be here. I mean, things happen.
We'll have a motion, second.
Yeah, are we gonna amend it?
Well, that's my question to you, it's your motion, if you want to amend it to make sure you don't spend over 25% over each line.
Line item?
Does that do it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's his amended motion the motion would be not to exceed 25% in each line item of that budget. Is that your second?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Brown? Okay. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 14, discuss and consider amending the adoption of the Van Zandt County Fire Marshal office fee schedule. They asked that, James, he had some corrections, we just approved it at the last meeting, but then when Christie contacted again, he said, no, we're good, we're fine, let's just go. So there'll be no action on item number 15. We were item number 15, discuss and consider approving committee to conduct interviews for fire marshal position. You know, we've had a vacancy, James left, I think it's time we move forward with the fire marshal position. We've got several applicants for that position. I think we need to form a committee and start conducting interviews.
Judge, I agree with you, and I don't particularly, don't have a preference on how the court wants to do it, with the exception of, I believe Steve Hendricks ought to be part of that committee.
Yeah.
So, I'm just gonna throw something out there, this is not a promotion. I think we ought to select at least two members of this court, along with Steve, to do the interview and bring the results back to the court.
Okay, I agree, and I'd like to propose a committee.
Okay.
The judge, Virgil, Steve Hendricks, and,
Hey, can I throw one on there?
yeah,
How about we put Chad on there?
okay, that'd be four.
You know Chad?
That'd be four. And that'd be fine, because he's not sworn in yet.
That's right. So
Whatever you
We
have.
don't have to post the
You
meeting.
go with that, Chad? Yeah. According to Chad, catch him, what happens?
Yeah, just want to make sure there's not a conflict.
Sure.
And should we put Dan on there?
Well,
I would think so.
I think Dana should be.
Okay, so that's fine.
That's fine right there.
That'd be fine. But I don't have to serve it, I don't think, it doesn't matter. If Keith wanted to serve on there, I'm good with it.
I'm willing to serve, as long as two members of this court are on there.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, and I would like to contact.
You have more day-to-day contact with the fire marshal than the rest of us do. I'm sure that's why Tim
Yes.
suggested you.
Okay. And I'll get Christie, and she's watching, to contact the lady to make sure, because I know an official coming in cannot hire or promise to hire, but I don't think there would be a conflict serving on the committee.
Right.
Should
This is just an advisory.
This is.
Yeah, because they're gonna bring it back to the court with their recommendation. And they're the ones that actually do the hiring. The court will.
They're not good to hire, yes, we're ready to hire.
The court will do the hiring. They'll bring their recommendation. They'll do the interviews. And the way I understand it, they'll do the interviewing of the candidates. And they'll bring their recommendation of the successful candidate back to the court. That doesn't mean the court has to go with that candidate.
Okay, so repeat the names.
I mean,
Yeah.
county judge, Virgil, Steve Hendricks, Chad, Pat,
And then,
Yeah.
Dan.
Okay, that's a motion, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner West, second by Commissioner Brown. Any other questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 16, discuss and consider allowing precinct 3 to apply for a power collection grant from EDCOG, East Texas Council of Government, authorizing county judge to sign resolution for said grant.
Judge, as you well know, precinct 3 does a community-wide cleanup every year, and the East Texas Council of Governments does a grant on that, but you can only apply for 3 consecutive years on any particular type of a grant that the East Texas Council of Governments provide. And so I cannot apply for a cleanup grant this year, but I'm going to apply for a tire collection. And what's that, if with court approval. And what I'm going to try to do is if I get this grant, I'm going to have 2 containers there, and I'm going to collect tires year round at no cost until those containers are filled. And so I'm asking permission to go for this, go out for this grant, and for the county clerk to sign the resolution. That's a motion.
Okay, got a motion by Commissioner Pearson. Second by Commissioner West. Any discussion or questions? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 17, discuss and consider changing the speed limit to 25 miles an hour on Van County Road 3705.
Due to a signed petition by well over 75% of the people that live on County Road 3705, I make a motion that we change that speed limit to 25 miles an hour.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pearson, second by Commissioner Melton. Question, discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 18, discuss the Pecan Oaks Trail subdivision on FM 47 north of Real Point in Precinct 3.
Well, we almost got there. We got our documents all here and filed, and they were documents that were revised from another county, and it's got several areas on it where they left, where the other county was left in print instead of as acting. So I make a motion to table this, and I apologize to the court.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Pearson to table item number 18. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner West. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 19, discuss and approve modified appointment of election judges for a 2-year period. Susan, there was one change on there, is that correct?
Yes, box 1B, we had Dustin Mason on there, and he cannot be a judge because he's actually on a ballot. So we've got Sharon Slayton replacing him.
Okay. That's only change on there.
That's the only change, yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the modified appointment of election judges for a 2-year period?
Okay.
Got a motion by Commissioner Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner West. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 20, discuss and consider and approve change in fiscal year 2021 district clerk, civil chief deputy, and civil deputy clerk salary, which does not require a budget amendment in personnel costs. Kenny, would you check to see if Karen's out there? She's gonna represent this.
She's I heard you talk about the seats.
You don't know my number?
354?
354.
354.
Voicemail? We will. I don't.
She's visited with me about it, if you want me to go over it.
If you're comfortable with going over it.
when I presented Karen with her, new budget, I also presented the salary structure that each of her employees were to receive. She had recently brought, on board an individual from the Zandt County Tax Office. And when she brought that lady over, she continued to pay her at the same rate of pay that she was making at the tax office. Once we got to looking at the salary structure, there she is. Yeah. Sure thing. Okay. Good morning.
We're on item number 20, Karen.
Okay. Okay, I'm asking the court to, lower my chief deputy position for my civil. Things kind of got messed up in between the budget, which it would not affect the money at all. A matter of fact, it would lower my chief deputy pay by, 771. I just ran the stairs. And it would increase my one deputy by $771. So I'm just asking the court just to consider making that change in a structure salary for me.
Is there any questions for Karen?
So you're cutting your chief deputy's salary by $771.
I'm not happy to, because I don't think y'all will give me the money to make up for that salary at this late point.
You're not giving her what's been allowed, you're actually cutting her pay.
Actually, I have not given that position's money yet. No, sir. It will cut that salary's pay. I'll just come back next year.
But they don't pay it.
No, sir. They don't have it right now.
To take the loss.
No, sir. No, sir.
Well, the only problem is we're struggling here for 2 hours to make all of our chief deputies the same salary.
Yes, sir. I've always had a civil because of the split departments. I've always had a civil supervisor, wasn't a chief deputy. And then I have my chief deputy. I've had that for years.
So your chief deputy will be making.
The same as the structure setting salary.
This is just a supervisor's
Yes, sir.
position over
Civil.
not a chief deputy position.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I had not made anybody the civil supervisor. So this just kind of got messed up in the middle of y'all's budget. I had asked for I had asked for an increase for one of my employees, and I think it just all got mixed up. I don't think y'all got the numbers to give a raise on that she was already, the salary that she was already receiving back from the beginning of June. So instead of coming back and asking for more money, let's just get it straight. We'll be on cue with what her deputies make. They will all make the same. So it's just that one employee kind of got left behind. So now they will all make the same if we do the salary structure. And it's just not going to cost anything out of my budget. I mean, it'd be the exact same numbers.
Motion to change.
Okay, second. Motion by Commissioner Melton, second by Commissioner Brown. I think it's already that way, isn't it?
Yes, sir, except that one. Oh, now, I guess it would be that way, wouldn't it? I mean, it's already that way.
Yeah.
It is. She just didn't get the raise on top of what she was making. Her salary got left behind. I think it just, the budget was already to y'all and the numbers, because I asked for her a raise back in June. And I think the numbers just didn't get to y'all. So whenever y'all did the budget for 21, she just didn't get that raise on top of what she was already making at that point in June.
So are you telling me that you got an employee that you're drawing a salary, and we just approved a 3% salary increase, and that one didn't get it?
Correct. Correct.
That position.
That position didn't get it. I think,
The position did not get the raise because it was not set in at the proper amount when she hired the lady.
It was already above. So you could say, okay, you didn't get 3%, but you was drawing more than what you should have been drawing for, just since June.
I had requested for her to be, for an increase. And I really and truly think that that's when the budget went to the commissioners. That number was not in y'all's packet. And then whenever it all came about, whenever y'all approved the budget, I realized that her salary wasn't what it was. What it was in June that I had given her.
And the change that Karen is requesting today will have no effect on the budget.
Yeah, it won't affect the overall
It just took away from my civil deputy, but I'm not gonna make anybody civil deputy for a couple more months, so I'll just come back next year and ask for that additional money, that $1,000.
You got a motion, we got a second by Commissioner Brown. Any other questions or discussion?
Well, I don't have a problem with this, with the exception of that's what we try to prevent doing something now. Hey, I'm gonna do this with this money, and then I'm gonna come back next budget year, and I'm gonna come in here and ask you for more money. That's what we try to get out of. We try to do this the way it's supposed to be done. And I'm all good with it, with the exception of the fact that I'll come back next year and fix this up. You've already fixed it this year.
Yeah.
But it won't be changing the chief deputies.
No, sir, it's just, it's the supervisor, civil supervisor.
It won't affect the chief deputies, which we all, I agree, we spend a lot of time, a lot of time and energy
Yeah.
trying to get all the chief
Oh, yes.
deputies salaries.
It doesn't affect that at all,
But it,
Commissioner. Yeah, it doesn't affect that at all. And instead of coming and asking the court at this time, I mean, the last day of September to increase my budget, I mean, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
okay, a motion second. Any other discussion or question? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 21, public hearing on the county clerks and district clerks annual written plans for funding, preservation, restoration of the clerk's records archive and designation of public documents included there. We will take a recess from the Commissioners Court regular session and enter into a public hearing at this time on the district and county clerk. You wanna go, Karen?
I will.
Okay.
As y'all are probably aware, these were fees set up. I think we got this fee established back in like 2015. And it was, we generate this money off of civil cases. And what it was set up to was help the clerks with their archive fee, their older cases back from the 1800s. And so I know the association, it was only going to end in 2019, but the Clerk Association fought very hard to continue this because there's so many counties that don't have the funds to go back and restore all of these older records. So we got that fee again, and what we have to do is do a plan and tell what we're going to do with that money. I am still working with CoFile to do my books. I know that y'all are aware that it costs about $3,000 to do one book. And so these are the old deteriorated books that are, the pages are torn. I mean, I'm being very selective of what I get done. I'm going for each book just to make sure that that book needs to be restored. And that's what I'm going to continue to do with this plan for this year. So.
What's the district, over the county?
And mine's pretty much the same, actually, I didn't get to do much last year due to COVID coming in. Co-fi was actually gonna come in and look at my books, and we were gonna discuss which one we were gonna do first. And, so we weren't able to do that, so we're gonna be looking at that. I've already got called into co-fi to try to figure out what we're gonna work on. This will be the first one that I actually do on the books. Also, we were gonna go up and look on the 5th floor at all those books up there to see what we can do to preserve those books. They're in really, really bad shape. We need to move them from where they're at and find locations, and that's what we're gonna be doing.
Does the public have any comments? Comments from Scott? Public comment on the annual written plans for funding, preservation, records. Okay, being done, that will conclude the public hearing. We will now go back into the regular session, related to the commissioner's report. Item number 22, discuss and consider approve the county clerk and district annual records archive plans for fiscal year 21 for preservation of the records in the respective office. Is there a motion to approve the plans that they just presented to the public hearing? So moved, Jeff. Got a motion by Commissioner Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pearson. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say aye. Motion carries. Item number 23, discuss and consider approval of fiscal year 2020 budget amendments. Now we had seen you, we want to leave a budget, we need a budget, what Howard was talking about earlier.
Yes, but it'll be a 2021 budget.
Okay.
So I didn't prepare it for this week, because we haven't gotten anything.
Okay.
On next board agenda, we need to be sure and have two, one for 2020 amendments. They will have to have one for 2020.
Is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 2020 budget amendments? I'd like that motion. Is there a second? Second. Second by Commissioner West. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah. One of the amendments that the numbers, it's on the one that's done by the
Commissioner's office.
training. No, this is extension. They have that they're moving $400 from training, and then they're going to take it out of or to increase for their office supplies, but they don't have a number. I'm assuming it should be the same number. $400.
That's what I assume.
But we are right.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of these amendments come through my office, Commissioner West, and open that. So
Good one.
some of these amendments come through my office, and if I see an error, I make them redo them, but when they hear my book.
Okay, well, I did.
But I didn't make them on.
Okay.
Correct that.
Yes.
Motion would be 400 and 400.
Motion would be to approve the budget amendments and on the extension office, that 1,400?
I think 400, that's a dollar.
400? Okay. To move that 400 down to office supplies. That would be my motion. And then second, we can, Mr. Williams. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 24, discuss and consider approval of August 2020 financial and investment report of county treasurer entered into the minutes of Commissioner's Court. You have the report.
Yeah, he came in, yes, yeah.
I'll tell you, trouble with my emails. I had it 2 days before that. Is that where it come through the email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to send it out. Nonstop, that work issue. That's why I'm going away. Okay. Motion by Commissioner Pearson, is there a second? Second by Commissioner West. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 25, discuss and consider monthly reports submitted by various offices, departments, and county government. Approval of either the same reports minutes as a matter of record. Mr. West?
Yes.
This is the last day of the month.
And all of them got in, we had to see some up on your head, we got it, but they're all here.
Is that a motion of approval?
Yes.
Okay, so motion by Mr. West, approve monthly reports submitted by various offices, departments, and government. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Pearson. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Is there a motion to adjourn? Got one by Commissioner Brown. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Pearson. I have a comment. Oh, you got the what?
I have a comment.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
No, I don't want to get into your business. I strictly don't remember. I remember on item number 8, a motion and second, and Brandon, I don't remember doing the vote.
Okay. I said, yes.
I have, on the right, I have Virgil make a motion.
Oh,
Okay. Let's go back to, before we adjourn, let's go back to item number 8. Discuss and consider, we have a motion, we have a second. Motion was made by Virgil, Mr. Melton, second by Mr. Pearson. And that is to discuss and consider the Zandt County event permit application for Fight for America on October 11, 2020. Any questions or discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And always do that. Don't feel bad. Because I tell you, this putting this agenda together for this meeting was not. And yesterday we were struggling, but it's not about me, it's about all of us. It takes all of us to run it. I certainly appreciate it. There's a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor?
Okay, so we have Brandon Brown on the motion.
Second.
We just need a vote.
Okay.
Adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Somebody just drive around and see it. I have here one more. Saying there's no need to sign. Yes, for here.